Hello everyone, so we are over here to discuss the 21st Jan, the shift 1 paper over here of the physics section. Now let's begin with the discussion. So let's begin the first question what we have over here. A gas-based geyser heated water flowing at the rate of 5 liter per minute from 27 to 87 degrees centigrade. The rate of consumption of the gas is how many gram per second? So basically it's a gas-based heater over here, and in this simple analysis, as you can see, the heat combustion rate is given. So you just need to multiply the mass, whatever is going to be the mass, into this, whatever is the combustion rate, 5 into 10 raised to the power 4. And this actually will be equal to whatever is the amount of water, the temperature, the energy which will be required, which can be represented simply as ms delta T. Now the specific heat capacity is already given, right? And the volume flow rate is given. Okay, temperature difference is also given. 27 to 87 is 60. So you can just keep it over here. Now here mass is not given, rather the volumetric flow rate is given. So you can just multiply 1000 kg per meter cube, and 1 liter normally is equal to 1 kgs only. So this can be written for water as 5 kg per minute. Okay, so if you just divide the time over here and the time over here, so this is what you want for the gas, the combustion rate, the rate of consumption of the gas, and this can be easily written, it is 5 kg per minute. So you will get the answer. Now you want it in seconds, right? You will have the answer in minute. So over here, please write 5 upon 60 and you solve it, you will get your answer. It will be somewhere around 0.42. Okay, I hope you have understood how to solve this question. Now the point of charge of 10 into minus 8 coulomb is placed at origin. The work done in moving a point at 2 microcoulomb from point A 4,4,2 to 2,2,1. What is going to be the work done in moving a point charge? This is a point charge of 2 microcoulomb. So simple, just try to find out the potential due to this charge at this point, then at this point, and whatever is the difference, Q into delta V, that will give you the value of work done. Simple problem. Now how to find out the potential? It's basically the distance. This is placed at origin, so it is 4 I cap plus 4 j cap plus 2 k cap. That means distance is going to be under root of 4 square plus 4 square plus 2 square, correct? So solving, you will get option number 2. Similarly, you can find the distance of that, and the potential is just simple kq by r. Now talking about the next question over here, a light wave described by E equals to 60 sine 3 into 10 raised to the power 15t and sine of 12 into 10 raised to the power 15t in SI unit falls on a metal surface of work function 2.8 eV. The maximum kinetic energy of ejected photoelectrons is. Now they are talking about the maximum kinetic energy. So obviously maximum kinetic energy case arises that whatever is the Ke max is basically whatever is the incident energy minus the work function. Now incident energy can be written as h nu. So as you can see, there are two frequencies which are given. There are two frequencies which are given, right? So which frequency you are going to pick? Obviously this one. They are going to be light waves having this frequency as well. So obviously you are going to consider this frequency and keep it over here. This is basically the angular frequency given. From this you will have to find out the linear frequency, and that you will have to place. The energy incident will be equal to h into the linear frequency, which is f, right? So omega will be equal to f upon 2 pi, right? So through that you will have to find out the value of linear frequency. I hope you can understand. Oh sorry, f will be equal to omega upon 2 pi. So through that you will have to calculate the linear frequency and place it over here. This is the linear frequency. You will get the answer. The answer is going to be 5.1. Okay. Now 2 electrons are moving in orbits of 2 hydrogen-like atoms with speed 3 into 10 raised to the power 5 meter per second and 2.5 into 10 raised to the power 5 meter per second. If the radii of these orbits are nearly same, the possible order of energy states are going to be. So they are interested in finding out the value of n. Now velocity relation, I think you know, c by 137 z by n, right? And r is 0.53 n square by z. Now if both of them are same and these values are given, I think you can find out the ratio of n and z, right? So it's basically the value of radius and velocity which will help you to find out the answer. The radius is same, 0.53, n square by z. So this is same for both of them, and the n and the z are going to be different, right? So they are going to be different. So n1 square upon z1 square equals to n2 square upon z1 square, and z1 is to n1 ratio is given. So based on that, you can find out the value of n1 is to n2. It will be around option number 4, which is 6 and 5. Okay. A uniform rod of mass m and length L, this should be L, suspended by means of two identical inextensible strings as shown in figure. The tension in one string immediately after the other string is cut. So if you cut this string, this rod, due to the mg force, will begin to accelerate, right? And what is going to be the angular acceleration? Only this tension will be there. Let's say Tb, I want to find out that only. This is cut. So torque will be due to mg only. So mg into L by 2 whole divided by the moment of inertia over here, which is ml square by 3. You will get the value of alpha. Now once you have got the value of alpha, you can find out the acceleration of center of mass, which will be L by 2 into alpha. Now once you have got the value of acceleration of center of mass, so mg minus the tension Tb will be equal to mass into acceleration of center of mass. So through this, you will get the value of Tb. Okay. Once you will solve it, you will get option number. It should not be mg by d. It should be, I think, mg by 4 something. Mg by 4 something. Please check. The option is not clearly mentioned. I am not remembering. Once you will solve it, it should not be d. It should be some other value. You can check. Okay. But the approach is this only. Okay. Perfect. 4 kg mass moves under the influence of a force F equals to 40 I cap plus 3t j cap, where t is the time in Newton in second. If mass starts from origin at t equals to 0, the velocity and position after t equals to 2 seconds will be. So velocity can be related. See, they are asking after 2 seconds. So what will be the velocity? The mass is starting from origin, and the mass is starting from origins, right? So if I just do integration of f dt, I will get the value of linear momentum change, that is impulse, and that will be final, and initial linear momentum is 0. So you just need to integrate from 0 to 2, you will get your answer. Okay. Now once you will solve it, you will get the answer as this will be the velocity, right? So linear momentum will be mass times the final velocity. So here see 4 into t cube dt will be t raised to the power 4 by 4, correct? Now once you will place 2 raised to the power 4, it will be 16. 16 by mass is 4. So 4 I cap obviously should be the answer. And similarly for that, 3t square by 2, correct? Now 3t square by 2 divided by 4, and t square will be 4 only, 3 by 2, perfect. This is the right answer. The velocity is this only. And similarly, r you can calculate. If you have got the value of velocity, then further you can find out the value of r. First you can do what? You can just integrate from 0 to t. Okay, you can integrate from 0 to t, you will get the relationship of velocity as a function of time. And then further, velocity is dr by dt, so you can get the value of r also. Option number 2 will be the right answer. Okay. This is a very standard scenario. There are NOR gates given, and the correct answer for this is the NAND gate. I hope no problem is there in this question. Moving ahead for the next one, a 1 meter long metal rod AB completes the circuit as shown in figure. The area of circuit is perpendicular to the magnetic field of 0.1 Tesla. If the resistance of the total circuit is 2 ohm, then the force needed to move the rod towards right with constant speed is. So obviously once you will move it, there's going to be an EMF VBL which will generate a current, right? And once it generates a current, there is going to be a force which will prevent the object from moving over here, and that will be I into L into B. Now I over here will be VBL upon R, correct? I over here will be the potential EMF which is developed, VBL upon the resistance, which is 2 ohm over here. So obviously the external force which should be required is equal to this. Now once you will keep the values, all the values are given over here. Option number 2 will match. It's a very standard textbook based problem over here. A conducting circular loop of area 1 meter square is placed perpendicular to a magnetic field which varies B equals to sin 100t Tesla. If the resistance of the loop is 100 ohm, then the average thermal energy dissipated in the loop in one time period is. No problem. First of all, there is a flux change which is happening, right? And the flux change which is happening will generate an EMF which will be equal to d phi b by dt. Now area is not changing, it's the magnetic field which is changing, so area will be out and it's going to be dB by dt, right? Now once you will differentiate it, you will again get a cos function only. Sine differentiation is cos only, okay? So the average power is basically going to be integration of whatever is the EMF which you will get, let's name it to be V. So the average power will be equal to, or the instantaneous power will be how much? First let's define the instantaneous power. So instantaneous power will be V square whole divided by R, because I think the resistance is given, yes. Now in order to calculate the average power, you will integrate instantaneous power, that is V square by R dt, and you will divide by integration dt. So cos square theta for one full time period is 1 by 2. It's a standard case. So based on that, you will get the answer over here. Finally, the average thermal power will be equal to pi. Okay, so pi joule is going to be the answer. Next, a current carrying solenoid is placed vertically and a particle of mass small m which carries charge q is released from rest. Okay. The particle moves along the axis of the solenoid. If g is acceleration due to gravity, then acceleration of the charged particle will satisfy. Now, in the current carrying solenoid, there is a magnetic field in the central. Now, if your velocity is along that, there will be no magnetic force. So, the only force which is acting is acceleration due to gravity. So, the acceleration is going to be equal to g only. Simple. Now, in a Young's double slit experiment, the distance between the slit is 0.1 centimeter and the screen is at 50 centimeters from the slit plane. Okay. When one slit is covered with a transparent sheet having thickness T and refractive index N, the central fringe shifts by 0.2 centimeter. See, whenever there is a slit which is kept in place, T into nu minus 1 is the optical path difference which is created. Now, if you just keep this in y is equal to delta x capital D upon small d, you will get the value of shift. So simple concept, simple formula based problem. You just have all the values over here, just keep it. You will get the answer as option number 3. If an alpha particle with energy 7.7 mega electron volt is bombarded on a thin gold foil, the closest distance from nucleus it can reach is. What is going to be the closest distance from nucleus it can reach? See, the closest distance from nucleus it can reach is going to be when the entire kinetic energy gets converted into the potential energy. Okay. So, if an alpha particle is having this much energy, so convert this entire energy, this half of mv square, the kinetic energy, as k, that is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, ze, right? So atomic number of gold is 79. So 79 into E, for alpha particle, you have the charges 2e whole divided by the minimum distance, which is r minimum whole square. Sorry, r, k q1 q2 upon r, right? Now, I think E value you already know, 1 upon 4 pi epsilon is also already given. This is mega electron volt. You will be able to find out the value of R. It will be 2.95 into 10 raised to the power minus 14. Okay. The paper was calculated, undoubtedly. Now, potential energy versus distance x is given by the graph. Rank various regions as per the magnitudes of the force acting on the particle from high to low. So, the various regions where the magnitude of the force. Now see, force is the slope, F is basically du by dx, correct. So as you can see, where you can find the maximum value of slope? The maximum value of slope is obviously BC, so BC will have the maximum force, this, and the least value of slope is at CD, so CD will have the least value of slope. Option number 4 is the right answer, okay. Two strings having linear densities nu A and nu B and length LA and LB respectively are joined. Free ends of A and B are tied to rigid support C and D. respectively, creating a tension of 500 Newton in the wire. Okay. Two identical pulses sent from C and D take time T1 and T2 respectively to reach the joint. The ratio of T1 is to T2. See, the velocity of the wave is under root of tension upon nu. Now, tension will be same in both the wires because they are connected. They are connected. So, tension will be same. The difference is only in mass per unit length, the linear mass density. And the distance is also given. So, time period over here is simple. Whatever is the distance d upon the velocity v. So, distance is given 2.5 and 1.5. Based on that, the T1 is to T2 ratio can be calculated. It will be option number 3. I hope this is clear. There is no trouble in it. Okay, sir. Consider a modified Bernoulli equation P plus A upon Bt square plus rho G H plus Bt plus half rho V square. Consider if F has the dimension, where is F? If F has the dimension of time, then the dimension of A and B is, I think it is, I think it's not F, it's T. If T has the dimension of time, then the dimension of A and B is. So this should be height h. So this should first of all cancel T and equal to h. So this should be equal to h by T. That means this should have a dimension of velocity, right? So it is matching over here, it is matching over here. So between 1 and 2, and A over here is A upon, this is velocity into time. So it's going to be one length into time, and this should be equal to pressure, right? So length into time should be there. Along with it, a pressure should also be there. So pressure ml minus 1, so ml0 correct, into t raised to the power minus 1. Yes, option number 2 is perfect. Okay, it's a simple problem, nothing much in it. Initially, a satellite of 100 kg in a circular orbit of radius 1.5 RE, this satellite can be moved to a circular orbit of radius 3 RE by supplying alpha into 10 raised to the power 6 energy. See, over here what you need to do is you need to evaluate the total energy. So the total energy is minus of G capital M small m upon R, the distance over here. 2R. This is the total energy of any satellite. So how much that total energy will increase if you make it move from 1.5R to 3R? And whatever is the difference, that will be the value of the energy which is required. Option number 3 will be equal to the value of alpha. Okay, this is a standard case of a Venturi meter. Okay, water flows through a horizontal tube as shown in the figure. The difference in height between the water column in vertical tubes is 5 centimeter, and the area of cross section at A and B is this. The rate of flow will be. So rate of flow you need to find out. That means if you are able to find out velocity at any point, the area is already given. Area into velocity will give you the volumetric flow rate. Perfect. Making sense. Now the point is, this difference in height is given. That means the pressure over here is going to be low and the pressure over here is going to be high. So what is going to be the pressure difference? This pressure will be high. So P1 minus P2 will be equal to rho GH, and P1 minus P2 will simply be equal to, here the velocity will be low, here the velocity will be less. That will be equal to half of rho into V2 square minus V1 square. That will be equal to rho GH. This height is already given. Correct? Rho will cancel. And further, the velocities are also related as area into velocity. So 6 into V1 will be equal to 3 into V2. Correct? So V1, V2 are related in the ratio 1:2, or V2 equals to 2 V1. So V2 equals to 2 V1, you place it over here. 4 V1, that means 3 V1 square by 2 will be equal to G into height is given as 5 centimeter. I think you will be able to find out the value of V1 and then multiply with area. You will get the volumetric flow rate, which will give you the answer as 200 root 3. Simple problem, nothing much in it. Electric field in a plane electromagnetic wave is given by this. Okay, this is the electric field, and the expansion for magnetic field associated with this EM wave is. So obviously electric field should be perpendicular to the magnetic field. That means it cannot be along Y. It should be along Z. And further, it happens to be in the same phase. So option number 2 is the right answer. As simple as that. Parallel plate capacitor has capacitance C when there is vacuum within the parallel plates. A sheet having thickness 1/3 of the separation between the plates and relative permittivity K is introduced between the plates. The new capacitance of the system is going to be, what will be the new capacitance of the system? So a sheet having thickness 1/3 of the separation between the plates and relative permittivity K is introduced between the plates. The new capacitance of the system will be how much? So simple, A epsilon naught whole divided by the distance 1/3 of the separation. That means if it is D, so D by 3 whole divided by relative permittivity is K. Correct? Relative permittivity, that means K times epsilon naught, and further it is 2D by 3. It is just simple epsilon naught. Wait. This is K and this is 1, dielectric constant, right? So through this you will be able to find out the answer, and C value you should already know. C is A epsilon naught by D. So upon comparison you will get the answer as option number 1. Okay, I hope there is no problem. In an experiment, the values of two spring constants were measured as K1 equals to this and K2 equals to this. If these springs are connected in parallel, then the percentage error in equivalent spring constant is. So the percentage error in equivalent spring constant, see, when the springs are in parallel, they directly add up. K equivalent will be equal to K1 plus K2. So delta K equivalent can be calculated, 0.3 plus 0.2. K1, K2 can also be calculated. Equivalent spring constant, the value will be delta K equivalent upon K equivalent. Option number 1, 1.67. Clear? An aluminum and steel rod have same length and cross-sectional area. They are joined to make total length of 120 centimeter at 30 degrees centigrade. Perfect. The coefficient of linear expansion of aluminum are 24 and 1.2 into 10 raised to the power 5. Okay. The length of this composite rod when its temperature is raised to 100 degrees centigrade. See, individual length will increase, right? The individual length will increase, correct? You already know the value of L1 and L2. So L1 plus L2 is 120. Now L1 dash plus L2 dash, the length of this composite rod when its temperature is raised. This is what we require. So this can be written as L1 1 plus alpha 1 into delta T and plus L2 1 plus alpha 2 into delta T, right? So L1 plus L2 you already know. Alpha 1 and alpha 2, the values are clearly given to you, right? So I think there is no trouble, you will be able to solve it. Right? So whatever is the final length, we need to specify that. Okay, perfect. Now option number 4 will be the right answer, 120.15. In a microscope, the objective is having focal length FO 2 cm and eyepiece is having focal length FE equals to 4 cm. The tube length is 32 cm. The magnification produced by this microscope for normal adjustment. Simple formula based LD upon FOFE will give you the value of magnification. Clear? I hope this is clear. 100 will be the answer. A collimated beam of diameter 2 mm is propagating along x-axis. The beam is required to be expanded in collimated beam of diameter 14 mm. Okay. Using a system of two convex lenses. If the first lens has focal length 40, then the focal length of the second lens will be equal to the ratio of the lenses D2 is to D1 will be the ratio of the focal length of the lenses F2 is to F1. Based on this, you will get your answer, right? 280 mm is going to be the focal length of the second lens. Then 10 mole of oxygen is heated at constant volume from 30 to 40. The change in internal energy of the gas. At constant volume, the work done is 0, correct? And the change in internal energy is simply equal to NCV delta T. So oxygen is a diatomic gas. Delta T you already know, number of mole you already know. I think you can very easily find out the value. And even Cp is given 7 calorie per mole and R is given. So Cv is equal to Cp minus R. So you can very easily find out the value. Cv is also 5. So if you keep the values, you will get the answer as 500. Okay. 500 is going to be the integer value over here. Two identical thin rods of mass capital M and length L are connected as shown in figure. Moment of inertia of the combined rod system about an axis passing through point P and perpendicular to the plane of the rods is x by 12 ml square. Okay, the value of x is. So what is going to be the moment of inertia of the combined rod system about an axis passing through point P? Okay, so passing through this point over here and perpendicular to the plane of the rod. So perpendicular to this plane of the rod, the moment of inertia of this is going to be ml square by 3. And for this, here you already know ml square by 12. You further add ml square. So you will get the value. The x value will turn out to be 17. Okay. For this over here, it's ml square by 12. Parallel axis theorem calculate for this. And for this rod, it's already ml square by 3. The heat generated in 1 minute between point A and B in the given circuit when a battery of 9 volt with internal resistance 1 ohm is connected across 3 points. See, first of all, this is a Wheatstone bridge, 1:2 is 2:4. No current through this. What is the equivalent resistance? The equivalent resistance is 3 plus 6. 3 into 6 in parallel. 6 into 3 upon 6 plus 3. That is 18 by 9. That is 2 ohm. So 2 ohm was the equivalent resistance. So 9 upon 2 plus 1, that is 3. 3 ampere will be the current. 3 ampere going through 2 ohm resistor. The power generated will be 3 2s are 6. And they are asking in 1 minute, I think, right? In 1 minute. So it is going to be 6 watt. And 6 watt is 6 joule per second. So if you multiply it 60, the heat generated between point A and B in the given circuit. So you need to find out the equivalent resistance. I think I'm missing on some values. So whatever is the equivalent resistance, the current which you will get, so either it is I square, okay, yes, it's I square R. I'm so sorry. The current calculated is 3, right? And it is 2. So 3 into 3 is 9. 9 2 is 18. So 18 joule per second. If you multiply with 60, so I think it's perfectly right. 18 into 6 is 108. Perfect. So 1080 is the right answer. Right. So I hope we have solved all the questions for this shift. Overall, giving you a tentative idea about the toughness. So it was not actually tough. It will be in the easy to moderate range only. The further days shifts were much tougher than this shift. Okay. So it will be categorized into not easy also, but lesser than moderate. Okay. So I hope you have understood all the problems. That's all from this session. Thank you so much. Bye-bye and take care.